Welcome to That Weekend Feeling with Daron Mann.
That Weekend Feeling is brought to you by the Weekend Post and the Daily Dispatch Weekend Edition. For more details on these and other stories, go to heraldlive.co.za and dispatchlive.co.za.
Each one of us has a story to tell and a story to share. A story that deserves to be heard. A story that inspires, motivates, and gives people a reason to keep going. A story about our triumphs as individuals and as a team. A story about our humble beginnings and what the future holds for us. A story about our heritage and that which brings us together. It is these stories that connect us. The Herald. Whatever you live for, we live to tell that story for you.
Now, it would seem that neither COVID, nor lockdown, nor load shedding stops the Ironman competition worldwide. We have the MD of Ironman Africa, Mr. Keith Bowler, on the line chatting with us this morning. Keith, a very good morning to you. You keep going, no matter what.
Well, we try to, Darren. I mean, I think these last 2 years have been a really tough period for the organisation, but we've done, I think, pretty well globally and sort of starting to the events again around the globe, and we're sort of pleased that we're able to start things back in Nelson Mandela Bay.
I've been pretty impressed that you've kept going, I must be honest. Share your secret with us. How is it that you have kept going when so many other major events have had to cancel or postpone?
If we go back to 2020, the only event that we actually were able to put on was the Ironman 70.3 South Africa event based in Buffalo City. And I think that was in January last year. And, 2 weeks out of our normal event, the Ironman African Championship, we had to cancel due to COVID starting to rear its head. And I think pretty much through 2020, all our events were either postponed to later in the year. And even with COVID numbers climbing, we weren't able to put on those events. So, I think getting into 2021, we've been able to defer a lot of the events to the latter part of the year. And, we successfully were able to put on the Ironman 70.3 in South Africa, Buffalo City, pretty much in July this year. And, we were able to do Durban, Ironman 70.3 Durban, under COVID conditions, and it's been very trying for the teams to get it going. But we're pretty much in a good space if we look at where we are now going into the Ironman African Championship, which was postponed from April this year to November.
Now, an irony is that you mentioned the Ironman Buffalo City taking place this year and taking place last year, but they've been left off the route this time round.
Buffalo City took place this year. What we are doing is was scheduled to take place in January next year. We have a number of issues that we are trying to resolve with the city at this moment in time, and hopefully we'll be able to bring the Ironman 70.3 back to Buffalo City.
I see you've announced Mussel Bay as a new destination as well.
Yeah. Mussel Bay has been one of these events that we've been working on for the past 2 years. We haven't had a foothold in pretty much in the Western Cape. So, we have been working on it, and we were, I think, fortunate during these COVID times to put to get an agreement with the city to host the next year's event in November. So that's due to take place on the 6th of November in 2022.
Now, we like to regard Port Elizabeth as the home of Ironman. Glad to see they're still on the schedule.
Yes, definitely. And I think we've got some, this year it's very much under COVID conditions. But I think going into next year, we've got some exciting plans with the Ironman African Championship in the weekend itself. As you know, it's the Isuzu Corporate Triathlon Challenge, powered by Algo FM, takes place on the Saturday. And we have what we call Olympic distance triathlon in the pretty much the same sort of time. We're looking to do some changes, and that should be forthcoming probably in the next day or so, which will become pretty much news to everybody. But I think we've got some exciting, we're really trying to come back with a force, in the sense that I think a lot of people, especially in the endurance space, have been looking for getting back into sport, and I think they're tired of the lockdowns and that, and really sort of health and wellness seems to be top of mind.
Now, as far as the sport of Ironman in general goes, the number of events appear to have proliferated worldwide.
It certainly has, and if you can see that just in terms of the number of events around the globe, I mean, if we look at even 70.3 events, I think our group is probably over 200 events just in the Ironman and Ironman 70.3 space. And it just continues to grow in leaps and bounds. And there's new destinations that are coming onto the global arena. And I think it's exciting for anyone that's in the endurance space and in triathlon.
As far as your particular brand goes, do you have a set number on how many events you can host worldwide in a particular year or not?
No, I think it's really depends on each of the different areas and how many they're in their teams and how many events they are able to put on. I think the minute you start to have too many of the events, it really can take away from the experience for the athletes, and one tends to find that the teams get very tired. So we try and space them where possible to give the teams time to recover. And as you know, it's for these type of events, we plan almost a year in advance for these events to take place.
Keith, as far as the competitors go, are you still able to attract the big names despite the COVID regulations and the various other challenges being faced?
Well, this is the amazing thing. And I think if we look at races around the globe and what COVID has pretty much done to them, a lot of the big players haven't been able to travel as much to the major races. But I think, one thing we're really excited about is, we only just recently opened up for international flights, and we've already got 296 internationals taking part in this year's field. We've got probably the best professional field outside the World Championships, with about 51 pros taking place, and some of the really big names. We've got people like Carl Buckingham. He's a local favorite. He's obviously won South Africa before. We've got Sebastian Kienle, Niels Fromhold from Germany. We've got Bradley Weiss, obviously a South African as well. And we've got many, many other top professionals that on the day pretty much could do. And we've got, on the ladies' side, we've got Susie Cheetham from United Kingdom. She's won it before. Anna Watkinson, she's a South African favorite, and she's taking place. So, I think we must really be pleased that we're able to attract these various top professionals in these difficult times.
Well, it certainly looks as if you're back on the up and up, and more power to you and the Ironman team, Keith. Thanks for joining us today. Closing words, anything we may not have touched on?
Yeah, I think, we're excited to sort of bring across the 16th edition of the Ironman African Championships on the 21st of November. And, although it's restricted and under the COVID conditions, I think one thing we're very excited about is that this is going to be televised through a live production through Facebook Watch, and it will go to the world. So I think it's really going to showcase Nelson Mandela Bay and pretty much the Eastern Cape. And I think anyone who's not able to be there to watch the event can certainly catch up with it on the broadcast from Facebook Watch.
Many thanks for joining us. He's the MD of IRONMAN Africa, Mr. Keith Bowler. Have a good day.
Enter the Daily Dispatch Winner Car competition and you could drive away in the new 7-seater Suzuki Ertiga 1.5 GA. The competition closes on the 21st of November 2021 and an entry form is printed in the Daily Dispatch every day. The more you enter, the luckier you get. Get your copy of the Daily Dispatch and enter now. Win a car, proudly brought to you by Daily Dispatch and Ronnie's Motors.
That was That Weekend Feeling with Daron Mann.